Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we're back. The dynamic duo is here once again. I had a couple of technical snafus, maybe some natural disasters happening the last few weeks. Skip and I weren't able to get on the same recording date, but you're back. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm just happy that you're not having to battle tsunamis and crazy like storms and stuff like that anymore, man. But hey, storms can't keep us apart. I'm doing much better now that we get to come and talk about some geek news. Are you ready to talk about some geek culture news?
Oh, you're damn right. I'm ready. It's time for your Saturday Night Delight. CBR.com posted an ill-advised Memorial Day hot take. Steve Rogers wasn't a hero for becoming Captain America. He was selfish, was roasted on social media, resulting in the article being removed. What do you make of this hot mess, Skip?
It is exactly what you said. It's a hot mess. How low do we need to go these days to get clicks so people can check out ads from these crazy articles? I thought it was bad enough when I read the article talking about, how Ultimate Captain America was the better Captain America a few weeks ago. And I actually went and I read that article. I know Perch tried to save me a click, but Perch, it was so egregious. I had to click on anyway. So sorry, Perch, for not taking you at your tweet, but I went and I read it. And this one, I couldn't even do it, man. Just the headline alone. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to give you the AdSense from clicking on this article. Captain America is obviously and easily the heart and soul, if not of the Avengers, but I would say of the Marvel Universe. He is the most selfless being that we know of, and he has the biggest heart because out of most of the people that he works with, he's one of the most depowered. For them to make such a ridiculous headline and then do it around Memorial Day, to me, is just an all-time low. You want to talk about punching below the belt? CBR, you have officially earned the title. You are the champs of swinging at the sack now. Congratulations. Wes, as someone who might be a little closer to that situation than me, what the heck, man? What are your thoughts?
Well, CBR definitely went and did they channeled their own Andrew Galata. I remember Riddick Bowe just getting hit in the nuts time and time again in that fight and it's like, this is CBR just going full Galata on comic books. Who's going to say this about Captain America on Memorial Day? It's a holiday where we celebrate and we remember those who have sacrificed themselves, in the greatness of everyone else in our own freedom. Captain America, when you look at his origin, one of the reasons he's selected is he jumps on the grenade without thinking, without a second doubt, to save people. And that's who he is, and that's who the character is. To go and try and deface the character, defame him on Memorial Day, it was a bad look. It was a terrible idea. Whoever the editor is that let that one slip through on that date probably deserves to be galotted himself, because it was a terrible idea. I can't believe they did it. Then I remembered it's CBR, but then I still couldn't believe they did it. It was just, what were you thinking? What a terrible hot take. Like, I get it. Ad revenues are down. You got to be even more clickbaity. You got to be even more hot takey to get people to go in and read these articles more. You got to piss people off more to get them there. But let's have some semblance of class or some type of what won't you do if you're willing to do this? It was crazy. They deserved what they got, and it's CBR, man. What are you gonna do?
Last time I checked, they had gotten such negative backlash that the article had been taken down. We could double check that, but yeah, all the backlash that the
tweet has been removed.
There we go. So they have earned that one. I would tell CBR to do better, but wouldn't that just be a waste of breath? All right. Anyway, we're moving on from that hunk of crap and over into some interesting DCEUs. According to multiple reports, Warner Brothers are negotiating to bring Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck back to the DC Universe fold. Who are you more excited to see return to DC films, Cavill Superman or Affleck's Batman?
All right, so this is gonna take some people off guard. I actually don't think the problem with the DCEU has ever been the casting. With a couple exceptions, I think Cavill is a great uh, pick for Superman. I think Ben Affleck was a terrific Batman. Really, the problem so far has been the vision and execution of the characters and the stories. Just weren't right for the DC universe. So, truth be told, I'm excited and I hope they both come back. But if you're putting me on the spot and you're saying, Wes, you got to make a choice. You don't get a fence sit this one. I'm saying Henry Cavill. I think he personifies that Superman look and that feel even better than Ben Affleck. And Superman is like, he's apple pie, he's Americana. And I know Henry Cavill is an American, but he portrayed the character well. I like that he gave him a nice big physical presence that had never really been done on the big screen, and you really didn't even see it on the small screen, other than Dean Cain, I guess. But I like that he had that nice big physical presence. I think that Henry Cavill was a great choice for Superman, and if I have to choose one, I want him to come back. But honestly, I hope they come back. But they both come back. If you have to choose who you rooting for.
I would definitely choose Cavill, especially he did a really good job with his physique and, like you said, really embodying the character as much as Zack Snyder left that symbol of hope and whatnot within the character. He was the very first person that was a part of the DCEU, so to me, it all started with him. So I would definitely say Henry Cavill for those reasons. And also, even though Ben Affleck is a better actor, I did enjoy Henry Cavill's Superman more than I enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman and Bruce Wayne. So being that I enjoyed Henry Cavill's Clark Kent and his Superman more, I would say he would be more integral. I think if they had to recast him, it would feel mighty awkward. And who knows if it's going to go past, the reshoots for Justice League and the Snyder Cut. But, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if I had to choose, I'm going with Henry the Cavill Man.
Well, I would say that you have good taste, my friend. And it looks like maybe the DCU might be able to right some wrongs and bring back some actors that were good choices to begin with. Skip, sticking with DC Comics, following their excellent DC Black Label series Joker Killer Smile, Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino return with Batman the Smile Killer. Are you ready to see the Dark Knight through the Joker's eyes?
You know what? I actually am. Jeff Lemire is someone who, I always feel there's a quality to his comics, even if I don't love the premise and whatnot. I literally was thinking the other night, I'm kind of so over Joker and all that stuff, but this is one of the concepts that I'm actually interested in. This is an interesting concept, and I feel like, Jeff Lemire understands the characters well enough to pull this off in a way that is interesting, a way that could be satisfying. So this, outside of Death Metal, is one of the few DC coming titles, not current titles, but coming titles that I'm actually really, really interested in. Jeff Lemire is probably one of the few people that could make me feel that way over at DC, aside from like Venditti, of course. But Wes, are you ready to see Batman through the Joker's eyes? That's the real question.
You damn straight I am. I really like Joker Killer Smile. It was like Lemire and Sorrentino took that Rorschach story within The Watchmen, where he's talking to his psychologist, and they fleshed it out and made it a bigger story about Joker. And I thought it was excellent. And Sorrentino's artwork in that comic series, it's a mini series. It's only 3 issues in Black Label, but he did such a good job with the visuals. They were all trippy. And when you finally get the big reveal, and I don't want to spoil it for everybody, I don't know if everyone's read it, but there is an absolute dynamite reveal in that comic book that fleshes out the relationship between the psychologist and Joker. And not everything is what it has seemed up to that point. It was just executed perfectly by Lemire by Sorrentino. I am absolutely ready to see what their take on is on the Batman in that universe. We have this such a weird version of Joker. He's so cerebral. Obviously, he's still psychotic, but he's he's playing with people's minds. He's changing reality for them. And I want to see the Batman in that world that was able to take Joker down, put him in his place, and maybe, and just maybe, recapture him after he escaped. So I'm absolutely all in on this one. I think Jeff Lemire and Sorrentino are one of the best creative pairings in all of comics. We're talking Snyder Capullo. We're talking Brubaker Phillips. We're talking that kind of level as far as creative duos. So if it's got Lemire's name, it's got Sorrentino's name on it, it's probably guaranteed I'm just going to spend my money anyway, because I know it's going to be quality.
Without a doubt, man. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And thank you, for pointing out Sorrentino as well, because the art will absolutely capture the crazy Joker vibe. So it'll be really good. All right. Well, we're sticking with some DC news for now. After years of fan lobbying, Warner Brothers recently greenlit the Snyder Cut. Now, Suicide Squad director David Ayers is pushing for his own director's cut. Did Warner Brothers set a dangerous precedent? And this is where we cut in, like, set a dangerous precedent, all the people that have been talking about how it set a dangerous precedent. Wes, now it's your turn. Did Warner Brothers set a dangerous precedent?
All right, so I am not happy with the Snyder Cut. I think everything that Zack Snyder did with the DCEU needs to be forgotten. Did it set a dangerous precedent? No, it didn't set a dangerous precedent. If anything, this is a new gimmick that they can use to bring people onto their streaming platforms by offering unique versions of films that are only available there. So now, are they going to be lobbied and requested about films with directors that not enough people want to see a new director's cut to bring it onto their platform? Absolutely. They certainly open the floodgates for a reboot of Ghostbusters and a new version of Suicide Squad. Do I think we'll get a Suicide Squad director's cut from David Ayers? Absolutely not. That production was kind of a train wreck from the beginning. They didn't give him enough time to do the script. They compacted the production time on that one. There probably isn't enough footage, and it probably just wasn't good enough to begin with. And it's not like, Zack Snyder was chosen to be the architect of the DCEU when they unveiled it. Ayers wasn't, he was a part of it, but he wasn't that big of a part of it. So I don't think we'll get this. Did it set a dangerous precedent? Not really. Did they open the floodgates? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say they opened the floodgates. That whole dangerous precedent thing, like, oh, it's dangerous. Like, oh man, there's danger. Oh, like everybody look out. Like, heads are gonna start rolling. People might really get hurt. People are gonna be, they will be bodily harm. If fans, some of the fans anyway, or outspoken fans might get more of what they want. I mean, director's cuts are not anything that's new. They've been around, I want to say, at least since late 70s, if not like early to mid 80s. Even if it's late 80s, it's nothing really new. Now, I understand the whole idea of that. There were some outspoken fans that wanted to see the cut, basically, if you want to say cut, the tone of the film without two different directors having two different visions, like Wes said, that got smashed into one. That makes sense. I don't feel like, I'm not a fan of what Zack Snyder has done in the DC EU at all. For the people that are, though, like, I'm happy for them that they get to see more of what they wanted to. To me, the jury's still out if there's going to be enough people to justify the cost and if enough people are going to show up to support it. I think more than enough people who were interested in the film, like all the normies, we call them, the casual fans. I don't know if this is going to be enough for them to sign up for HBO Max. Maybe they'll watch it. I don't know if they know enough about the history to know that, so much more has been added or what the difference would even be. But a dangerous precedent, I wouldn't say a dangerous precedent, but I do agree with Wes. The floodgates are open. But here's the thing. If you just make a solid movie that most people enjoy in the first place, you don't have to do this. You don't have to deal with things like this. But I don't know just making a good movie out the gate and not slamming two different directors into one movie. What a crazy concept, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Diamond Comics distributors restarted shipping comics less than 2 weeks ago. We now know DC Comics is delaying the release of a handful of titles due to issues with Diamond Comics. Could there be a worse time for Diamond to miss orders?
I don't think there could be a worse time. Not that I can think of. I mean, we're literally coming right back out of the difficult situation. We know everything that happened with the two new distributors coming in, and as much media attention as Steve Jeppe was getting, all the different interviews that he was doing, the whole sticker thing on the box, is it Back to Comeback? Is that what it was called?
Comeback, baby.
Back to Comeback. It's looking like the comeback has a broke back because it's not delivering all the comics, to all the stores in time. And right as more and more states are starting to open up and people are, people that couldn't do curbside can do curbside. Certain people can go back into stores, and these shops really need these books. I don't think there could be a worse time. And whatever the issue is, that they were experiencing, they need to fix it fast because it really is looking bad for them. And, for other people that might have been interested, if they have some money and they did well, during, this event that was going on, they might smell blood in the water and really come in to try to, see if they can make an impact inside of this distribution thing. But Wes, can you think of a worse time to miss comic book orders right now?
Absolutely not. People are just getting back. We're finally getting new comics again. This is definitely not the time where we need to be missing a comic delivery dates and things like that. And of course, like we said, DC brought in new distributors. They have competition for the first time in decades that could be breathing down their neck. Obviously, they're not that big. They're only distributing some DC comics to the shops that sign up for it. But, if they become more reliable, maybe DC just would move away permanently from them or try and influence some shops to go with them on a full-time basis. So, yeah, this is a terrible time to do that. It's bad for the readers. It's bad for the retailers. It's bad for the publishers. And it's certainly bad for Diamond Comics distributors. I don't think it's good for anybody. Even the books that Lunar and UCS delivered on time, those retailers have been told you can't, put those out for sale until the ones from Diamond get out as well. So, it's bad for everybody, and it's unfortunate. Hopefully, things smooth out. Obviously, they're just getting back online and getting their distribution working again. Hopefully, the kinks are worked out, and we're back to a smooth running operation soon. But terrible timing.
Fully, yeah, terrible timing. Let's get it together, yo. All right, AT&T entered the stream wars this week, launching HBO Max. Are you ready to sign up, Wes?
All right, so here's the deal. They are launching HBO Max, but it's not for people like me here in the Philippines. It's only for you Americans because you guys are all pampered and everything. You get everything. I get everything, years late. We don't even have Disney Plus here. So am I ready to sign up for HBO Max? Potentially. I know that, everyone's excited about the Snyder Cut. I could care less about that. But I am a Game of Thrones fan. I like The Sopranos. I like Deadwood. I like a lot of the content that HBO had as far as their TV shows. But really, if you want to bring the D-Man onto the payrolls of HBO Max and throwing my money down, they've got the D1, D2, D3, the Mighty Ducks trilogy available and exclusive on HBO Max. Now that's how you sell this guy. Do I want me some Mighty Ducks in my life? Absolutely. Can I get it today? Absolutely not.
Quack, 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 quack. Yeah, man. I mean, the knuckle between the knuckle puck and Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yep, and Oz. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to take. It would take a flying V. To get me to sign up for HBO Max. Because I'm someone who, if it wasn't for covering, comic book related content, I don't have any personal interest in rewatching Justice League. I haven't watched it again since I watched it in the theaters. As y'all know, I'm obsessive compulsive. Most comic book movies that I enjoy in theaters, I buy and I rewatch like 20 times, or I'll even go to the movie theaters and see it at least 5 to 8 times. So I don't have any personal interest in it. It's only business related. But you know, it's the other things on there that you know that they have and that they'll need to bolster. And I'm also interested in seeing, like, you know, some of the other questions that we might have talked about before. Are they going to roll the DC streaming service into it to kind of, you know, add some extra content into it? Or are they going to do a bundle deal? Or are they going to keep them separate? For people that, you know, there's still HBO Go and then HBO Now, you know, I know there's still some questions in the air about what they're going to do with those things. It's still not, you know, they knew that they needed to get in there, and that's what this looks like. They're just getting in there. But as far as like all the other things that they need to clean up for us to understand clearly how to roll into it, it's going to take a little bit of time. Because like I said, most of us who keep up with, you know, YouTube news, you know, we're on Twitter and all that stuff, are connected. The normie isn't like that. They're on Facebook at best. And Facebook's a jumbled mess to try to find a lot of the information that you really need. And I don't think they're on there searching for that kind of stuff. So I don't know how clean and how good of a rollout this is going to be for HBO Max. But luckily they do have HBO's old catalog, Arliss, and all those old shows I used to watch when I was a kid in the 90s.
They've also got the Criterion collection. They got TCM, so they have the best, most extensive collection of classic movies there is.
Okay, I didn't know about the Criterion. So that'll be good too for people that want to watch the classic movies,
stuff like that.
All the OG stuff. So, you know, we'll see. But me, am I looking to hop on it? I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe just to see Alex Banks one more good time and kiss my childhood away. But that's about it.
Oh yeah, the Mighty Ducks is what would bring me in, but they're not even advertising it. They're nuts. All right, Skip, that'll basically do it for this week. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me today. Is there anything you needed to say before we sign off?
If you're looking to continue this conversation about comics, make sure you join the Discord. Thank you for all the people that have been joining. We see more and more people join just about every day, and it's nice to have awesome conversations in there about writing comics, about, you know, sharing comics that we've been reading, news that's going on in between time. Thank you for the people that get us some of the stories nice and early so Wes can make videos about them. And keep an eye on the Twitch too. As I've finishing up some of the reading on my channel, I'll be coming back over here to this channel and gaming more, and reading a few other comics that I have promised Wes that I'm going to finish, like Thanos Wins, which I finally did. So keep an eye over here. I'll be reading comics over here and whatnot. So thanks everybody for joining us.
Yes, thank you everybody, and thanks to all the people on Twitch who watched us live. Really appreciate it. Salamat po, and we're out.